Hey.
Elliot Rodger, an infamous mass murderer, first patron saint of the incels, who died at the age of 22, having lived 8,339 days. But do you know about the worst day of his life? A day where he was beaten, cucked, and robbed? No? Well, it's a good thing he wrote an entire chapter in his manifesto about it. On the day of his attack, he posted a 137-page manifesto detailing his entire life and motivation for his day of retribution, entitled My Twisted World, The Story of Elliot Rodger. This story starts at page 121. It's Saturday, July 20th, 2013, less than a year before his massacre, and just a few days away from his 22nd birthday. Elliot has spent a whole 2 weeks exercising in his room. By this point, he's already decided he'll have his day of retribution and has been fantasizing about it for 2 years now. But he's still willing to give the world one last chance. If he goes out tonight and manages to lose his virginity, he will not go through with his massacre. It was the day that I decided to go out in Isla Vista in an attempt to lose my virginity before I turned 22. That was the last thing that could have saved me. I was giving the female gender one last chance to provide me with the pleasures I deserved from them. Well, you can probably already guess what he doesn't end up losing. In order to hype himself up, he buys a bottle of vodka and takes a few shots. A few shots too many, actually. He's fully drunk by the time he steps outside. By this point, Elliot is already kind of a high-functioning alcoholic. In order to even go outside and see couples together without becoming viciously angry, he requires alcohol. He also needs it in order to even just talk to people. Eventually, after a bit of drunkenly wandering around the streets of Del Playa, he wanders into a random house party. Keep in mind, he has zero idea who these people are. They had a DJ playing annoying hip-hop music that all the young people like these days. And there was a ping pong table set up where lots of popular kids were playing beer pong, a crude drinking game. I love that Elliot is so autistic he explains what beer pong is. We know what beer pong is, Elliot. You don't have to tell us. He helps himself to some free beer. And remember, by this point, he's already completely wasted. So I have no idea why he thought it'd be a good idea to add even more alcohol to the situation. He says he tries to act like a normal partygoer, but I think that anyone that says they're acting like a normal partygoer is definitely not acting like a normal partygoer. After a bit of standing still watching everyone else have fun, he comes up with the genius plan to lose his virginity. He's going to walk around the party and wait for a girl to come up to him and start talking to him. What's the point of drinking so much if you're just gonna wait for the girls to approach you? I thought the point was so that you'd have like confidence to approach girls. It's so fascinating being in the mind of Elliot. Like what are you doing? I've never seen such a risless chud in my life. Shockingly, his plan does not work. He just gets really angry seeing all the girls talking to other guys. I saw girls talking to other guys who looked like obnoxious slobs, but none of them showed any interest in me. As my frustration grew, so did my anger. I just imagine him in the corner being like, they don't know, I'm the supreme gentleman. Let's say hypothetically his plan worked. What is he even going to say to her when she comes up to him? By this point, he can barely form coherent sentences. Even if he was fully sober, he's way too autistic to even hold a conversation with a girl. Oh my god, you're so cute, I love Happas. I am the super gentleman. Oh my god, that's so hot, you're such a gentleman. I'm going to rape you. Eventually, he comes across a hot blonde white girl talking to a full-blooded Asian. Instead of getting hopeful that one day a beautiful white girl would love his ugly chud ass, like I do when I see an ugly guy with a hot girlfriend, he becomes enraged. I always felt as if white girls thought less of me because I was half Asian. But then I see this white girl at the party talking to a full-blooded Asian. How could an ugly Asian attract the attention of a white girl, while a beautiful Eurasian like myself never had any attention from them?
Yeah, I'm the perfect guy. You would have to be a real stupid fucking bitch to not see how much of a catch I am. So anyway, I hope I hear from you soon.
Filled with burning incel rage, he walks up to the Asian guy and bumps into him with his shoulder. And then again, he does this for 5 minutes straight. For 5 minutes, he's walking back and forth, bumping into this random Asian guy. Can you imagine being at a party and Elliot Rodger comes up to you and just bumps you for 5 minutes? I wonder what they were saying the entire time, or was it just like awkward silence? What do you even say when someone does that to you? Eventually he falls over. Despite what Elliot did, they still offer to help him. They say he's drunk and needs some water, and they offered to get him some. These two people are so nice to Elliot, despite the fact he spent the past 5 minutes annoying the shit out of them. Elliot refuses their help and he storms out of the party. As he's walking out of the party though, he kinda feels like a little bitch for not doing anything, so he goes back inside. He goes up to the Asian guy and insults him before leaving. We don't know what Elliot said, but I really wish we did. I bet it was so funny. I am a supreme Eurasian gentleman, and you are nothing but an oriental orc. He heads outside feeling like a badass, and after a bit of awkwardly standing still, looking at everyone else having fun, he decides to climb onto the deck of a house and sit down on a chair. After chilling up there for a little bit, a bunch of pretty girls come up to the deck as well, followed by their boyfriends. The fact that none of the girls spoke to him and just ignored him as he sat there angered him. He got filled with incel rage. Nah, he was in a cuck chair. He goes up to the group and starts insulting them, and I really wish we knew what he said. But the group, instead of being offended, they laugh at him and insult him back. That was the last straw. I had taken enough insults that night. A dark, hate-fueled rage overcame my entire being, and I tried to push as many of them as I could from the 10-foot ledge. My main target was the girls. Dude, what the fuck? Elliot is trying to push these girls off a 10-foot ledge like they're a fucking Red Dead Redemption NPC.
Sorry about that.
He's trying to kill them because they insulted him after he insulted them first. A year before his massacre and he's already trying to kill women. Also, a dark, hate-fueled rage overcame my entire being. You are not Dexter. Obviously, Elliot loses this game of King of the Hill because it's a 1v6, and instead, he ends up being pushed off. He falls onto the street and breaks his ankle. When I landed, I felt a snap in my ankle, followed by a stinging pain. I slowly got up and found that I couldn't even walk. I had to stumble, and stumble I did. I tried to get away from there as fast as I could. Okay, look, obviously what he did was bad, but I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd at least get like 2 women pushed off the roof. I mean, I wouldn't do that in the first place because it's bad, but I feel like I could do it. So, as Elliot's waddling away, he realizes he's missing his Gucci sunglasses. He assumes that somebody from the party must have somehow stolen them. Elliot, have you ever considered that maybe nobody stole them? They might have just fallen out of your pocket or broke since you fell off a fucking house? But anyways, Elliot decides he's gonna make his way back to the party and get his sunglasses back. Obviously, this does not go as planned. At that point, I was so drunk that I forgot where the party was, and ended up walking onto the front yard of the house next to it, demanding to know who took my sunglasses. The people in this house must have been friends with the ones I previously fought with, for they greeted me with vicious hostility. They called me names like faggot and pussy. Typical things those types of scumbags would say. A whole group of the obnoxious brutes came up and dragged me onto their driveway, pushing and hitting me. I wanted to fight and kill them all. I managed to throw one punch towards the main attacker, but that only caused them to beat me up even more. I fell to the ground, where they started kicking me and punching me in the face. Eventually, some other people from the street broke up the fight. I managed to have the strength to stand up and stagger away. That's right, Elliot somehow managed to forget where the house was, and he walked up to the wrong house entirely. Even if it was the right house, he went up to a group of completely random people. Also, say what you want about Elliot, okay, but this guy had balls. He genuinely believed he could win a 20v1. I mean, he couldn't, but he believed he could. Maybe he should have spent more than 2 weeks working out. Do you guys think Elliot would still be alive if he went on steroids? He could be like the OG clavicular. Also, I feel like Elliot might be leaving out a few details about what really happened. What do you mean you demanded your sunglasses and they immediately called you a faggot? I don't know, it just doesn't seem that believable to me. We'll come back to this later. After getting the absolute shit beaten out of him, the group that broke up the fight help him walk towards the end of Del Playa Street. They make sure he's safe before leaving him alone. Even though these total strangers helped him by breaking up the fight, potentially even saving his life, as well as making sure he gets home safely. This act of kindness was not enough for Elliot. None of the girls at the party had sex with him to make him feel better. It's impossible for Elliot to accept any form of kindness if it's not a girl having sex with him. These people might have saved his life even though he tried to kill a bunch of girls just a few minutes earlier, and he's still not grateful. If girls had been attracted to me, they would have offered to walk me to my room and take care of me. They would have even offered to sleep with me to make me feel better. But no, not one girl showed an ounce of concern for me. They didn't care. No one cared about me. I was all alone. When he arrives at his apartment, he calls his parents and sister, and he talks about what happened to them. In the middle of calling them, he reaches around his neck to fidget with his necklace, and he realizes it's missing. While he was getting jumped, someone must have snatched it off his neck. This was a special golden necklace given to him by his grandma, one of his most prized possessions. I broke down in anguish and wailed in agony, crying and crying until I passed down in my bed all alone. Honestly, reading this part made me kinda sad, but then I remembered he just tried to push a bunch of women off a roof, and then I was like, oh, maybe maybe it's not that sad. Once Elliot wakes up, he realizes that once he reports his injury to the hospital, he'll have to talk to the police, which may get him in a bit of trouble. You know, just a bit. I did try to push those girls off a ledge and threaten to kill all those people, which could implicate me. Whoa, Elliot, I thought you just said you demanded your sunglasses back and insulted someone. What do you mean you threatened to kill all those people? It says a lot about Elliot that even in his final manifesto, which he should have no problem telling the truth with, he still tries to lie and weasel himself into becoming a victim. Elliot starts concocting a cover story so he won't get in trouble. He tells the police, "Those boys deliberately pushed me off the ledge after I acted cocky towards them. I didn't mention the girls at all. I expressed to the police of my wishes that they should all be punished for this." The police then went to interview them, and they had their own version of the story. Since there was no actual evidence, the whole case was shortly dismissed. What do you mean they had their own version of the story? You literally admitted that you were gonna lie to the police. What do you mean another version? You mean the truth? I don't understand why he thought it would be a good idea to talk to the police. I mean, did he really think they would get punished? There's like a group of 100 people that would be able to tell the police he tried pushing girls off a ledge and threatened to kill everyone. If I were him, I'm just saying like I fell down the stairs or something. What if the police had investigated this party incident a little bit better? Would there not be witness testimony from 100 different people that he tried to push women off a roof, or that he threatened to kill everyone? Reflecting on this day, Elliot says, "My 22nd birthday was a miserable experience. I sat around at my mother's house, staring at my broken leg, feeling so pathetic for being a crippled, as well as a 22-year-old virgin. My mother bought me a new golden necklace to replace the one that was stolen from me, as she knew how heartbroken I was about losing it. The highly unjust experience of being beaten and humiliated in front of everyone in Isla Vista, and their subsequent lack of concern for my well-being, was the last and final straw. I actually gave them all one last chance to accept me, to give me a reason not to hate them, and they devastatingly blew it back in my face. I gave the world too many chances. It was time for retribution." He definitely thought this anime villain dialogue went hard as fuck. In the aftermath of this embarrassing encounter, and after his leg heals, he returns to his mother's home. As it turns out, his sister has gotten a new boyfriend, and he's not really a fan of him. "I eventually grew to hate him after I heard him having sex with my sister. I arrived at the house one day, my mother being at work, and heard the sounds of Samuel plunging his penis into my sister's vagina through her closed room door, along with my sister's moans. I stood there and listened to it all." Why did he describe that so vividly? Did you try and cover your ears at least? You heard each individual thrust? Look, you can hate me for saying this, but an incest cuck fetish would have saved him.